If you have recently decided to try online shopping for clothes, you've probably come across a little website called Shein. According to Shein.org and the Shein Group, Shein is a global online fashion and lifestyle retailer making the beauty of fashion accessible to customers around the world. This is just one example of a company selling fast fashion, which is a word that arose from the increasing popularity of accessible fashion in various kinds of people. I've decided to look into the history and the uprising of fast fashion and its overproduction of clothes, the overconsumption by many people, and the effect on the environment. Taking a look at the history, fashion has always been a form of self-expression, and we can see that from the 80s to the early 2000s, and a lot of these trends have been coming back into style. Trend recycling is very common, and we're able to see it more recently because of how soon it's happening. Trends are occurring in a span of 3 months to a year, where, say, 10 years ago, it would not be as fast because people aren't able to access these clothes as easily. According to Celine Rottier in the article, What is Fast Fashion and Why is it Bad? In the 1990s and the 2000s, low-cost fashion reached its peak when online shopping increased. They were able to take looks from these top fashion brands and reproduce them not only very cheap, but very quickly. So say even 10, 15 years ago, you would see something and you weren't really able to find it as fast as you are now, where say I saw Ariana Grande wearing a really cute dress, I could just go online and find a dupe of it at a very cheap cost. In a matter of a week, someone would probably be producing it. And as people are demanding more, these producers are going to overproduce, and this has led to a massive decline in the quality of our clothes. According to Muffy Aldrich in Your Sweaters Are Garbage, knits used to be made entirely from natural fibers. Now, the overwhelming majority of yarn used in these mass market knitwear is blended with some type of plastic. The main reason for this is it's cheaper to produce and they can produce it in mass amounts. This usually wouldn't be such a big issue, I suppose, but it becomes one when these mass amounts are not being bought by so many people, and it just leads to massive amounts of waste in garbage and like leftovers that are out of style, and they don't know when it's going to come back, so they got to get it out and start reproducing the next cycle of clothing. And it's just this constant produce waste, and a lot of times it has to do to people and spending more. So I'd like to say it's become more of a wear it once mentality, or at least that's how I've seen it, where people are not going to keep repeating outfits. They're not going to keep wearing the same tops, jeans, just because they want to keep it fresh and stay unique in what they're wearing. According to Owen Mulhern in his 10 Essential Fast Fashion Statistics, since 2000, the average number of times an item is worn has decreased, while over a 15-year span, clothing sales have doubled, which in short is saying that we're not wearing our clothes as often, but we are spending more on new clothes, because a lot of times you can see that people are doing these massive clothing hauls. I've seen it on TikTok, which you may have heard of, where people are spending $500 on Shein, where each item is like $3. So they have these massive amounts of clothes, and in reality, you don't need that many clothes, and you're not going to go through them that fast. And it's just going to end up being waste, and you're just going to end up throwing away. And it makes it really tough because you're spending all this and you're just ending up wasting all of it. And this is horrible for our environment because it's leading to massive amounts of trash, and it's affecting our water and the ocean. According to Rashmila Maiti in Fast Fashion and its environmental impact, the fashion industry is the second largest consumer industry of water. It takes about 700 gallons for one cotton shirt to be produced and 2,000 gallons for just one pair of jeans to be made, which is an insane amount of water just to produce one garment. And when you take into the fact that these companies are producing so much, then it's just really ruining our environment, and all these dyes are going into the water when it's being thrown away, and it's just not good for us at all. And you also have to take into fact the amount of energy it takes to produce these clothes For instance, CO2 consumption is about 2 times greater in the fashion industry than it is in the entire flight and maritime industry. And this is according to Owen Mulhern in his 10 Essential Fast Fashion Facts. And you can sort of see in that demographic chart that I have in the bottom there, that it's 2 times greater, which you would think that an airplane is going to produce and consume more CO2 than fashion and clothing, but because of how much they're producing in these massive factories, it's ending up producing more and it's being horrible for our environment. So in the end, fast fashion is very harmful for a lot of us. And I'd like to say that it's an easy fix that we can just, hey, yeah, I'm going to stop buying from these people. But it comes down to these companies and whether or not they want to spend the time to change. But more than likely, the most we can do is just really think about something before you buy it. Do I need it? How many times am I going to wear it? Is this me? You know, do I love this outfit? And if you think like that, at the end of the day, you're doing your best of what you can do. So fast fashion on its own has led to massive amounts of overproduction, and it's led to many people over consuming because of how little and cheap it is to buy these things. And the environment itself is being affected in a negative way.